weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Good morning to one and all present here today. My warm greetings to our beloved principal, teachers, staffs, and my dear parents. To begin this day program, I would like to call upon Miss Caroline to invoke God's blessing with the word of prayer.
God, we gather together unified in your name. This morning, seeking guidance, wisdom, and support as we reflect on past accomplishments and look ahead to working together to promote a brighter future. Lord, grant us courage, boldness, and discernment as we engage in meaningful discussion in an effort to grow closer as a community. Fill us with the grace of the Spirit and continue to remind us that all that we do and accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. Help us to grow in peace and understanding with one another. Bless our families and friends with a gift of kindness, patience, love, and respect. Give us the grace to share these gifts. Lord, we bring before you these prayers and the prayers that we hold silently in our hearts. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Thank you for invoking God's blessing. Now I would like to take the privilege to invite our speaker for today. Ms. Sheila Balan is a practicing counseling psychologist from Bangalore. Academically, she holds a master degree in MSc Psychology, a counseling psychology from Sampurna Institute of Advanced Studies. From a very young age, her ambition and goal was to give into the world of psychology and to be a therapist. After her bachelor's degree at Mount Carmel College in Bangalore, she has had a short stint in the corporate world before pursuing her master's program. Her one-to-one private counseling sessions focuses on rapport building, effective communication, creating an environment of acceptance and empathy, inculcating self-awareness and multicultural competence, equipping those in question with problem-solving skills while inhabiting a compassionate and approachable space. Irrespective of the curveballs a particular situation may bring, we are pleased to have you as our speaker for today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Supriya. A very good morning and a very warm welcome to today, our attendees. A few days back, I was just meeting a few students, and we've been having this meeting online, offline with a few high school students. Share what was happening with them, what was happening at home. And what I realized was that because of the pandemic, a lot of us have been going through a prolonged stress throughout the pandemic, throughout what has been happening in terms of work, in terms of home, in terms of school for children, in terms of all that. That's when I kind of decided to do a webinar for our parents on burnout, because what is happening at home is, and it is extremely important for parents also to take care of themselves, not only physically but mentally and emotionally as well. So having that in mind, we're going to have today's session on burnout. Certain things I'd like to mention before I proceed. One is, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them out on your chat box. I should be able to see the questions. If not, one of the technical team will send it to me on WhatsApp and I can address those questions for you. Secondly, I'd like this to be an interactive session, though I won't be able to see y'all, I won't be able to hear y'all. You can still interact with me through the chat box itself. then I'll probably ask you all some questions and you can respond, and then we can take it from there. All right. So let me just share my screen, my presentation in a minute. One of you all please let me know in the chat box if you can see my screen. Or my staff members, if you all can let me know my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's seen.
Thank you. All right. So I got this statement that was made by Brené Brown from the internet yesterday while I was preparing for this webinar today. If you don't want to burn out, stop living like you're on fire. And this resonated with me on different levels, because I think we are living in such a fast-paced life. Every day, you know, we are in such a hurry. We're just always in a hurry to get to work, in a hurry to get back home, in a hurry to finish our meals, in a hurry to go out to family gatherings. Every time we are on a hurry. And the more we are going to continue living on fire, the faster we are going to attain burnout state of mind and body and all of that. So I'd like to ask you all parents, what according to you is burnout? If some of you can type in, and I'll stop sharing my screen for a bit and read your responses. I'd like to hear from you all. What according to you is burnout? If you can type it in, I can read it out. Okay. One of the parents responded saying it's an unnecessary stress on the daily routine. Okay. Which is true. It is an unnecessary stress, which we ourselves kind of invite. Tired mentally, absolutely. Getting drained physically and mentally, yes. Unable to concentrate or focus, absolutely. Getting drained physically and mentally. Okay. Unorganized way of lifestyle that can lead to burnout, yes. Extremely stressed out. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for responding. All right. So, you know, in my own words, if I have to describe what burnout is just exhausted completely in mind, body, and soul, where you're completely exhausted in your mind, body, and soul. In other words, in technical words, being exhausted emotionally, mentally, and physically, all together in sync. When you're just exhausted, you are going to go through burnout. Burnout is not easy, because one is you're not able to recognize that you are going through a burnout. You get into a state of confusion because you are not able to understand what's happening. Physically you may be okay, mentally you may not be okay. Mentally you may be okay, physically you're not okay, or mentally, physically, and emotionally you're just not okay, and you just want to get into a shell. So there's a lot of confusion when you are going through burnout as well. I'm just going to share my screen again and show you all definitions that I've taken off the internet. These are some of the definitions that I've taken off the internet and, you know, other places as well. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. The key word here is the word stress, because we've been through stress, especially because of the pandemic. We all have gone through tremendous amount of stress. We may have lost our jobs, we may have lost a loved one at home, things may not be going as planned at home, weddings may be cancelled, a lot of things. You have to kind of replan your entire plan that you had before the pandemic set in, and that can cause stress. And while things just keep adding on to the stress, there is no relief. So you've been constantly going through stress, prolonged levels of stress, prolonged duration of stress, which can cause you mental, physical, and emotional burnout. Nobody's talking about the emotional aspect, which again is very important. Now, what are the stages of burnout? Enthusiasm, that is the first stage. You know, when you're getting into something, we are enthusiastic. For example, if we are going into a new job, we are enthusiastic. If we are you know, going to school, starting school, children are enthusiastic about it. You're starting some sort of a new hobby, we're enthusiastic about it. So enthusiasm is the first stage. So you are on fire during this stage of your burnout. You're on fire because you just want to get it done. A new hobby, you want to do it completely, finish it in one day. The second is then you become a little dull, you're sluggish, you're procrastinating during this stage. And because your work is not getting on time, you move to the stage of frustration. You're not able to do it. The results are not what you expected. So you get into a mode of being frustrated. And then you just get into, because it's becoming like a routine for you, there's boredom that is setting in. And then you just tend to resign from what you're doing. And that's when burnout also sets in. So when you are in this stage and when you're able to recognize, maybe I'm going through burnout, then it's extremely important for you to check out means that may be an intervention in terms of helping you through the burnout. These are some of the signs of burnout. You will lack motivation. For example, most of the time burnout is associated with your job. Burnout can also, there is a parallel that we can draw in terms of having burnouts in relationship, having burnouts at school for children. This is for students. Having burnouts with a hobby that you're doing. Burnouts you can have a burnout with any aspect of your life, just not job. So I'll stick to the job aspect for now to make it simpler. Lack of motivation. You don't feel like going to work. You don't feel like meeting your deadlines. You don't feel like mingling with your colleagues. So you're just basically not motivated. You're checked out, which means you're drained out. You're just done. You have the sense of, I'm done with my job. I just want to quit. I want to move. You're not able to concentrate at a task given to you. You have these constant mood swings. You're excited. You're feeling low. You're angry. You're having outbursts with your colleagues or your team members. You're not able to remember things. In terms of what needs to be done, what's the deadlines, these things you're not able to remember them. You're not able to relax, you lack energy, though you're eating, maybe you're not eating because your appetite may have taken a hit because of the stress. And then that affects your energy levels, which in turn affects your mood. It's all interlinked here. You may have constant headaches, even if you've had a good night's sleep. You may wake up with a heavy head, or you may not, throughout the day, you might just have this constant irritating headache that you are living with. You're procrastinating because you're just bored of the work that is there at hand. So you're just constantly procrastinating. You're having self-doubts like, am I good for this job? Is this what I am cut out to be? Those are statements that you may make in terms of self-doubt. You have the sense of loneliness because you may be the only person who's going through the burnout, and nobody around you in your environment may be feeling the same way towards their job. Feeling drained. There's a spelling mistake I just noticed. Again, constant headaches, low immunity. Now, I may be talking about just the emotional, mental aspect of burnout, but it also goes hand in hand with the physical aspect. When you're going through a burnout, when you're lacking motivation, when you're going through stress, it affects your immunity. So if you may, if there is some sort of a viral doing the round, a normal viral doing the rounds, then you may be susceptible to get the virus yourself quickly to others at home. Your appetite might change, which means you may not feel like eating, or some may eat excessively. So that they are able to deal with boredom. I was just talking to a friend yesterday who happens to be a doctor. He's an MBBS doctor who's also an oncopathologist. So we were talking about burnout yesterday. I was just sharing that I'm doing this webinar, and he mentioned a very important point, and he kind of requested me to share this today in the session with the parents. He said one of the other things that could cause you to feel burnout is the fact that you may have deficiencies as well. You may have a vitamin D3 deficiency. You may have a B12 deficiency. Vitamin D3 is very common right now because people are not stepping out. People are working from home. When you have vitamin D3 deficiency, it can affect your mood. It can cause you to feel depressed, in turn, which may make you, feel burnt out faster. So his request is that, if you're having excessive mood swings, if you're having body aches, if you're having constant headaches, please get yourself tested for any sort of deficiencies and just start the treatment with that. These are the possible causes, some of them. One is that you lack control, just not overwork, but in general as well. In terms of, for example, in terms of the pandemic, we all had absolutely no control over it. We did not know how to protect ourselves, protect our loved ones. We had to step out. So there was just this feeling of helplessness. And that could be one of the possible causes that could lead us to feeling burnt out. Lack of recognition. Again, this is at workplace for people who are having a 9-to-5 job, 9-to-6 job. If they are not able to recognize at work for the work they're putting in, for timings that they're putting in, for the extra efforts that they're making, no appreciation, then you might start to lose motivation in terms of going to work. Lack of sleep, because we've been at home all these months, we've been working from home, our routines have changed. So our sleep, if you've noticed, most of them, what I've heard is the number of hours they're sleeping either has decreased or increased. Either ways, that could be one of the possible causes for you to go through burnout. Perfectionist tendencies, which means that I need to do this work perfectly. So even if it takes me more time, if I get reprimanded for that as well, I will still try and make sure that I do it perfectly. Negative effects, it can change your immunity levels, your mental state, your anxiety, all of that could come and that could stay. Your anxiety can stay for a very long time, which is an after effect of prolonged stress. And you might not even be able to recognize that you're going through anxiety. So everything might seem overwhelming for you. Work might seem overwhelming for you. Home atmosphere might seem overwhelming for you. Spending time with friends might seem overwhelming. This can also cause illnesses. Now, when you are having issues related to anxiety, it can cause a lot of stomach issues because anxiety generally plays up on your stomach region. Digestive issues you might have, you might have constant indigestion, loose stools, stomach aches, acidity, gastric, all of this could be a cause, your physical effect due to burnout and stress. Spill over into home and social life. Because you're burnt out, you may not be actively involved in things that are happening at home. It may be functions, it may be marriages, it may be just get-togethers, it may be just family time. You may not be involved 100%. You may not want to go out and meet your friends. And then you get into a habit of just not doing that. And that gets more dangerous because mentally it's going to cause you, just being low on a prolonged time, which then causes depression and self-doubt, and all of these things then come into play. These are, coping strategies. There's a lot. I'm just going to take it one step at a time. Firstly, recognizing is the key to starting to cope with it. Recognizing that you're going through burnout. I still remember during the first lockdown that we were going through, there was this particular, I think about 2 weeks, and it was like a chain reaction among our staff members. A few of our staff members throughout a couple of months, I would get calls saying, there's so much that's happening. I'm not able to cope with what is happening. We all were working from home, but we were still not able to work peacefully because there was just so many things that were happening and we were not able to have any control over it. So I was able to recognize that they are going through burnout. And one of the things that as a therapist, as a counselor, that is something I have experienced as well. During the same period, even I went through burnout where there was this fear in terms of the pandemic. It felt like there was too many things that we were doing at home. There was, no breather that I was able to get. So just identifying, and one of the things I would suggest, which I will be talking more, is for them to take a break completely. Just don't take off from your work, just be at home, maybe binge watch on TV, or just go out and physically play in your vicinity without being in close contact with other people, maintaining social distancing. These are some of the strategies I constantly kept telling people. So the first step is to recognize that you're going through burnout. And how would you recognize that you're going through burnout is where you're physically exhausted, mentally and emotionally you're exhausted, like you're just feeling numb. That is one of the ways you would be able to recognize you're going through burnout. Find somebody to talk to. It's not necessary that you have to find a therapist or a counselor to speak to. You can speak to your partner, you can speak to your children, you can encourage your children. If you notice that your children may be going through burnout, you can encourage them to come and speak to you, or to another adult at home. You can speak to your parents if your parents are around. You can speak to a relative, you can speak to a colleague. Just find somebody who will be able to attentively listen to you, and take a break completely from work. Work is not going to be by your side when you're ill, when you're going through anxiety or depression. Work is not going to come and stay by you. I know work is important, of course, work is important for everybody, but tell yourself that it is okay to take a break. Yeah, self-care tips when you recognize that you're going through burnout is, firstly, say no. If something is draining you, let it be at work or in your relationship or at home, if something is bothering you, try and say no to it. Try and be like, okay, I'm going to prioritize myself today. I'm going to take care of my mental health today. And it's okay for you to cancel plans. It's okay for you to reschedule meetings. It's okay for you to take off. And it's okay to tell yourself it's okay to do it. You need to prioritize relaxing. I know this relaxing comes as a privilege to a lot of us, but once in a while, it's okay to kind of make yourself a priority and get into a mode of, I want to relax today. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to work today. And of course, seek help. Try and speak to somebody about it. Look after your body, which is extremely important. If you look after your body will take care of you emotionally, mentally. So try and get about 8 hours of sleep. Always stay hydrated. It's extremely important for your brain to be hydrated constantly. At least eat 3 meals. I know a lot of us skip meals, including me. This is something I'm telling myself right now. Try and have at least 3 meals a day. It would be great if you can break down your 3 meals and make it into 5 meals, 3 big meals and 2 small meals. But if that is something that you can't accommodate, then try and make it a point that you have at least 3 meals in a day. Make a list of priorities, like, every day maybe you can get up in the morning and see what are the things that's absolutely important that you need to finish today. What are some things that it's okay for you not to finish, that you can take time? Just make a list of it. See where you need to kind of invest that energy on the important things, where that much of energy is not required. Sometimes we kind of tend to spend too much of energy on things that don't matter at the end of the day. So recognizing them is the key. And schedule things that make you happy. And it's extremely important. So do things. Maybe it's playing with your children that may make you happy. Just watching TV might make you happy. Going for long drives may make you happy. So do something at least once a week that makes you truly happy. How to avoid burnout? One of the ways is knowing yourself, knowing what your limitations are, and not pushing yourself over the threshold, over your threshold. So if I'm a person who may go through a burnout, I recognize that this is it. This is my threshold, and I will not allow anybody to push me beyond that threshold, or I will not push myself beyond that threshold. Identifying what your stressors are. In other words, identifying what your triggers are. What is it that puts you off at work? What is it that, simple things like the environment in terms of the lighting of a workplace can put you off. That can be a trigger. That can be a stressor. It can be a voice of a colleague that might put you off. It might be a noise around your home atmosphere that can put you off at home. So just recognizing what your triggers and stressors are will help you avoid a burnout. Adapt, adjust to your job responsibilities. Now, I know in the last 1.5 years, And speaking to a lot of professionals who are in the corporate, either they have taken up extra job responsibilities, or they had to adjust in terms of, new job, change of the teams and all of those things. So taking some time in order, tell yourself it's okay. I mean, it's a new change that has occurred to me, and I will take a little more longer to adjust to this, and it's okay. Even if you have a supervisor or superior person at work, a boss trying to push you, it's okay to go and talk to this person and say, you know what, this is something new to me. I'd like some time. I'd like more time to get adjusted to this. I know it may come across as somebody who's incapable, but recognizing that you need this for your mental health and voicing it to your boss or to people who are in charge at workplace, just talking to them about it will help you in the longer run. I know it's very difficult to have a positive outlook when sorry, just a minute, I'm getting a little distracted. It's very difficult to have positive look when nothing in our life is going okay. But it's important to just show gratitude to the things that are going okay in our lives. Showing gratitude to the very fact that we're still alive when so many people lost their lives during the pandemic. Showing gratitude to the fact that we are able to get 3 meals, we are having a roof, a shelter to stay and safeguard ourselves. Security is in place for us. Just having a positive outlook in these aspects, then we'll start having ripple effects with your other aspects of your life as well. I cannot stress enough on this point of getting enough sleep and rest. Sleep plays a major role in terms of burnt out. If you haven't had a good night's sleep, you're obviously tired to go to work, or you're obviously tired to do any sort of a responsibility that is given on you. And when you're physically tired, you do tend to get emotionally and mentally tired as well. Make it a point. I know this statement comes from a place of privilege. And when I say privilege, the very fact that we can consider taking some time out is a privilege for us. While a lot of people, migrant workers, they can't do this. They can't take the time out because they depend on daily wages. If you are able to, if you have that privilege of taking some time off, please do that. Please take a break, go on drives, go to nearby cities or towns and spend some time off from work, spending time physically with family members, keeping away all sorts of technological devices will help you to avoid burnouts. Exercise regularly and eat healthy. The other reason why you may go through burnout is because of sedentary lifestyle. Seated in one place, not having enough physical exercise, not having movements will cause you stress on different levels as well. Just sitting in one place, sitting in a room, not having enough ventilation, and all of that will just cause you different stress on mentally on different levels. So it's important to have some sort of a movement. And when I say exercise regularly, I do not mean going to a gym. Just a simple walk, playing badminton with your children or playing badminton with your partners, with your friends will help you. Some of them would like to dance. So just turning on the music and dancing will help you, and eating healthy. A lot of deliveries, Swiggy deliveries, Dunzo deliveries, I've seen it happening in my vicinity, which means I see that people have started to eat a lot of junk food as well. And that is understandable because of the stress you're going through. So some of them eat for comfort. Getting back into trying to eat healthy is again a key to avoid burnout. Have a support system in place, and this is not just in terms of trying to avoid burnout, but in general, it's always good to have a support system in place, recognizing who your support system are. So when something untoward happens to you, you know who are the people who you can lean back on. And when you have identified who your support system people are, try and communicate the same, saying, you know what, I've recognized you as my person of support when and I might call you if I'm going through something, and I'd appreciate if you're available. So that is how you would recognize a support system and communicate with them. Support system can mean friends, it can include family members, it can include your partner, it can include maybe your boss as well, whoever you think would be apt for you. Those are your support system people. Try and vent out regularly, try and don't bottle up. Find a colleague who you can talk about if it is related to work and you need to vent out. Try and find a family member who you can kind of vent out, an older family member preferably, who will be able to listen to you and who would probably advise you from an experienced lens. So it's important to vent out time and again. Again, the third point, approach colleagues for advice. If you need, talk to somebody in order to understand, in order to get a different perspective. You may not want to take an advice, but you'll at least be able to get a different perspective to what you may be going through. Knowing some stress management strategies, and this is something I constantly keep telling people who are seeking counseling and who may have some sort of a bodily ailment, saying for example, if you're going through, if you're having high blood pressure, or if you're having some sort of a condition in terms of your heart, the medication that you are taking has a certain element of medicine or drug that is used to also treat stress. So indirectly, if you're going through hypertension, indirectly, they are treating you for your stress. If you're going through heart-related ailments, indirectly, they are treating you for stress. If you are having arthritis, they are indirectly treating you for stress. So knowing how to cope up with stress will avoid you from having these lifelong illnesses like diabetes and hypertension and all of that. And some ways you can manage stress is by taking a break, is by doing things that will make you truly happy. By going on a holiday, spending time with family, spending time with friends, spending time by yourself, cultivating a hobby. These are some of the strategies you can inculcate in order to manage your stress. Try not to procrastinate on getting work done. Most often, the reason we tend to procrastinate is because we recognize that there is time in our hands. We know that, okay, I still have this much of time to meet a deadline, and that puts us in a mode to procrastinate. So the more you procrastinate, the more your work is going to get delayed and boredom will set in, and then eventually you may go through a burnout. So try not to procrastinate and try and get your work done on time. It's important to practice planning. Routine is extremely important. Time management is important, because if you're not able to manage your time, you get into a mode to procrastinate. And it's important to delegate. If you hold a higher position at work, try and delegate. You may be a perfectionist and you may prefer doing it because then it becomes easier for you, but that also adds on to your stress. So it's important for you to delegate certain work to your peer group people, to your colleagues, and whoever you may think is fit for that particular job. Okay, I would like to take some questions if there are any. In terms of children, before we proceed, you all can type out your questions. In terms of children, what we've also recognized is children are also going through burnout in their own way. For example, you may notice that your child who once upon a time loved playing video games may have kind of automatically reduce the amount of time he or she is spending on playing video games. Or you might notice they have become probably quieter than what they were, and you might in your mind think, okay, maybe my child is growing up and that's why he's becoming mature, she's becoming mature, and that's why they're becoming quiet. But those are also signs of burnout in children. And when you notice these kind of signs in children, it is important for you to go and ask them what is happening. Feeling check. It's important to do feeling check with them. It is important to run through the day with them and asking what went wrong. Why do I notice you being, by yourself? Why are you quiet? Would you like to do something? So it's like a chain reaction. If you are going through burnout, it is a possibility that the child may also be going through a burnout. So when you're helping your child deal with burnout, in turn, you may also be able to cope with your own burnout in a better manner. keeping kids is physically active is difficult. It is. But also that's where your creativity will come. Trying to keep them busy, trying to keep them physically busy. It's extremely important to keep the children just not mentally busy, but physically busy as well. So help them cultivate a hobby. It may be playing an instrument, or it may be some sort of a dance that they may get into learning. All of that is important for them. Getting creative. Parents, this is a time where you can be creative in terms of getting them to start physical activities. What is the difference between burnout and depression? Burnout can cause depression. Burnout is where you're going through exhaustion, physically, mentally, and physically. Depression is a state of your mind, and it can be prolonged. Burnout can be one of the adding factors to depression. Parents, if you have any questions, you can type out. I didn't want to have this session as a very heavy session, then it'll again add to the burnout that you're going through. So the motive of today's session is for you all to recognize and understand what burnout is. So you will be able to recognize it and may seek help if you need any. Some of them have been asking for the link of this webinar. I don't know if it is being recorded, but if it is being recorded, we will try and publish it in YouTube as well. Stress can cause you to get into chronic anxiety. You may not be able to recognize the anxiety, and if you go to a doctor because of an ailment that you're going through, for example, all of a sudden you may have high BP. And you may start medication on high BP. Now, when you go to a physical doctor, to a doctor, a general physician, one of the things that they will treat is your symptom. They will not treat the cause of the symptom. And they are treating indirectly the cause as well. But it's important to recognize that the hypertension may be related to the stress that you're experiencing. It could be in terms of home, it could be in terms of work. So taking care of the stress for you may help you with your BP as well. I'm just answering some of the questions. If child is getting angry most of the time, is it burnout? It could be a cause of burnout because most often children are not able to communicate what they are feeling. The only way they may know to express what they are going through is through anger. And that is something that they may have learned watching an older adult at home. So yes, if a child is constantly being angry and is lashing out most often, that can be something deeper in terms of what the child, and that can be some sort of a burnout. It could be some sort of a sadness or depression as well. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, academically, children may give you a tough time. One of the things that may help is working together. If you notice the child giving you a hard time in terms of academics, not wanting to sit and study, you can sit along with the child rather than asking the child to do it. So it can be like a combined task you do. I know it's an extra effort the parent has to put, but once the child gets into a habit of doing it on a regular basis, then you can slowly wean yourself away from it. Just stop sharing my screen. Senior students sometimes have their own opinions on things. How should we as parents handle? Firstly, the very word senior students, which means, you know, students are probably in 9th or 10th. And it's okay. As parents, one thing you need to recognize is that it's okay for children to have an opinion. I know it may be a worry for you, thinking if they are having, you know, the right kind of an opinion or not, but talking to them, understanding where they are coming from, where their opinions are coming from, will help you handle them better. Children who are having online classes, they are going through burnout on a different level. You may find them not wanting to do any work after their online classes have ended. Now, this is something common that's happening in every household. Because they just don't want to sit in front of the system again to complete their notes or to study. So just having a routine for them, if they have about 3 hours of class a day, giving them a reward mechanism, saying just finish your homework in another hour's time, and then maybe you can watch TV, or then you can go out and play, and then, you know, maybe you can spend time with one of the parent. So just introducing a reward system may help them to finish their work on time after online classes. Yes, there has been a lot of learning right now. Online mode has increased in more learning because children are accessing a lot of apps, and it becomes very difficult for them to get adjusted once they go back to school. So giving them a little time to tune back into going back to offline classes will help them. So understand it's very difficult. Change is very difficult for everybody. Again, change may cause you to go into a mode of, you know, exhaustion. I don't want to use the word burnout because it may not cause you burnout, but it will cause you distress. Change causes distress, even for adults, even for children. So it's important for us to allow certain amount of days to go by for them to get adjusted and adapted to the changes. How to handle burnout in children? One of the ways is helping them to talk about it, asking them what is happening, giving them the vocabulary to express will help them deal with burnout. Talking in itself, 50% of the times you talk about what you're going through, that itself will help you to calm down. So helping children, even if it's smaller children, LKG parents, UKG parents, even if you find your child probably is, you know, not okay, and children, smaller children, more often they will throw more tantrums if they're going through something emotionally, mentally, right? So it is extremely important to help them express, ask them how they are feeling, giving them the vocabulary in terms of, are you feeling upset about this, or are you angry about what just happened? So giving them the vocabulary in terms of the feeling will help them develop the habit of expressing throughout their life. Parents also, I mean, few of the parents have asked me, and I just want to make this as an announcement. Anytime, if you want to speak about something related to your child, please feel free to fix an appointment by calling the office, and then you can come and meet me. and we can talk about this in depth. A lot of parents have asked me if they can come and meet me, and as a counselor, I'd encourage you to come and talk about all of these things in depth. If reward mechanism, one of the parent has said reward mechanisms most often fail. The other thing is, we call it as positive reinforcers and negative reinforcers, right? Positive is where you are giving what the child likes after a certain outcome has been met. A negative is where you're taking away. So if the child, for example, if you want the child to finish homework, within the next hour, and if they don't complete it, taking away TV time, that is negative reinforcement. So taking away something as a punishment may also help you. So that is something you can try if reward mechanism isn't working. Any questions, you can drop in your question. Meanwhile, I'll just summarize. Burnout is exhaustion that you go through mentally, physically, and emotionally due to prolonged stress. Now, when you're going through prolonged stress and when you're going through, you may go through anxiety mentally, you may lack motivation to do anything. So it's important to recognize that you may be going through some sort of a exhaustion, some sort of a burnout, and to seek help. Some of the ways you can seek help is either by going and meeting a counselor or speaking to somebody at home or a colleague, taking a break, doing things that you will be able to enjoy, make you happy. Those are things that you can do for yourself in order to avoid going through a burnout. Fast-paced life, yes, fast-paced life can lead to burnout. So it's okay to slow down, take things one at a time. I know it's again coming from a place of privilege that we are able to take life one at a time when a lot of people can't do it. But if you fall under the privileged category where you slow down on your life rather than go through life like you're on fire, that will help you overcome burnout. If children like to write, if they like to journal, and this is something I encourage children to do, it will help them in terms of any sort of a mental distress they may be going through, just not with burnout. Having a journal. I encourage children generally to have a journal, which is called the gratitude journal, either by the end of the day or when they wake up in the morning, just making a list of things that they're grateful for. It can be the smallest of small things. And writing about how their day was towards the end of the day may help them overall mentally, just not with burnout. All the questions that have been coming in, I've been answering. Another 2 minutes, I'll take questions if there are any, and then maybe we can end today. I didn't want to make it too heavy today because burnout, knowing about it also may cause certain levels of distress. If children are giving you a hard time in terms of meal timing, and I'm just assuming the parent who's asked this question, I'm assuming that you're small and they're not high school students. What you could do is having a set routine and sticking to the routine, having fixed time to eat, just like how there would be a fixed time in school, having the same sort of a fixed time at home and sticking by it. So what happens in school is if the break period, if the child does not eat during the break period, most often the child has to come back to class and If the teacher is not aware, then they'll have to go about their daily routine by skipping the meal. So you could use that. I know it's not, you would be worried about your child not eating, but getting into a routine, sticking by a routine, putting a routine in place, sticking to it is the key. Because of work stress, one of the parent has asked this, because of work related stress, they're not able to spend too much time with the child. Now, I do understand that work consumes most of your time and every day you're not able to, but a 3x3x3 rule is what I would which means the first 3 minutes after the child wakes up is a very important part of their day. So spending that 3 minutes with them, again 3 minutes after they come back from school or after you come back from work, just sitting either 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever you're able to set aside, and before they go to bed, asking them how their day was throughout the week, it'll help. But you're working, you do not have time. But on the weekends, try and get into a routine where you are sitting with your child, doing something with your child at least for 1 hour. I'm sure you will be able to try and take out that time for your child's sake, but it is extremely important, because if you're not able to do that, it is very normal for the child to develop untoward feelings, unnecessary feelings like anger, frustration, and all of that. So I know it's important, it's very hard not to be able to spend time, but also recognizing it's important may help you. If a child cries for no reason, you may want to talk to the child, identify what the triggers are. Just a simple noise that may have triggered the child and the child might cry. So recognizing that and communicating with the child may help. Again, I'm guessing this question is from pre-primary parent, where the child is very dependent on the parent. In terms of meal timing, encouraging the child to eat on him or by himself, and saying, if you finish your meal by yourself today, appreciating them, always say, good job, I saw that you were able to eat on your own today. That will encourage them to eat on their own going forward. Encouragement, appreciating will help. Parents, I am publishing a link, a feedback link. I'm not sure if Yashaswini ma'am has already sent the link, but if she hasn't, I will just post the link for you. 1 second. It's just going to take you 2 minutes to just fill this form. It'll just help us plan better and execute it better going forward. Yeah, they have sent the feedback form. Please take a minute. It's only going to take you a minute to fill the feedback form. It would help us. I've tried and answered all the questions. If not, over the session privately, I have sent you all responses. We have come to the end of the session. The motive again of this session was to help parents identify what burnouts are, what are some of the causes of burnouts, what the negative effects of burnout is, and how they can cope and avoid a phase of burnout. Also remember, burnout is just a phase. You will be able to overcome it with the right kind of a help that you may seek for yourself. Using the right kind of coping strategies, you will be able to overcome this phase if you're going through a burnout. Don't let burnout stress you out more. Parents, thank you so much for being such a lovely participatory audience. Feel free to make an appointment if you want to talk about anything further. And yeah, a lot of them have spoken about relationship with your spouse's burnout. Please do make an appointment, come and talk to me, and we'll see how we can help you through this. I've answered most of the questions. Anger can can come. Anger, one last question, I'll just answer this. Anger, I call, is a secondary emotion, which means there is a primary emotion. There is something underneath the anger that you're showing. It can be depression, it can be anxiety, it can be disappointment, it can be sadness. So yes, anger is a secondary emotion. That's the only way maybe children know how to express what they're going through, but trying to see what the primary emotion and helping them with the primary emotion will help them. All right, so over to Supriya.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sheila, for giving the awareness about what exactly is burnout. And also thank you so much for explaining to us about the stages and the signs of burnout that we experience on a stress level, either it is on the physical, emotional, or on the mental aspect. I would also thank you for bringing out the present researches and also about the situational aspects that you gave about burnout. Thank you so much, Ms. Sheila, for helping us understand and recognize what burnout is exactly about, and also giving us the feedback about how to cope with burnout. Thank you so much, Ms. Sheila, ma'am. Right now, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Principal for giving the platform, Father Rohan D. Almeida, for giving us this platform to have this session on burnout. I thank our beloved parents who took part actively in this webinar, and I also thank Ms. Sheila Balan for giving an amazing webinar session with burnout. I also thank the teachers, Ms. Carolyn for the prayer, and Ms. Yashashwini and Ms. Akshita for supporting us with the technical aspect. Thank you once again. Thank you all. And yeah, you may now leave the webinar.